Brother, I am fuming. Well, I'm being cautious, personally. I mean, we're gonna discuss this more, but where are viewers? Where are they? The stream has been up for 48 seconds. Oh? Yeah. I thought it was late. We have viewers? Yeah, we do, apparently. Nah, I mean, I figured, bro, today I've just been prepping shit for next week and doing Shugo on the dot every hour. No point for me to stream today, right? So I just kind of waited until the last moment. So the plan right now, quite simple. We're going to go over the dev live notes. And then when the servers go down, I'm going to take a look at the patch notes live on stream. Now, I'm still going to do the patch note video. But there's two... A Shugo player? Dude, I did 20 fucking Shugos. I wanna fucking jump out the window right now. I also did all 7 fucking Burrito evasion. I actually want to die. But yeah, anyways, I will still do the patch notes video, but the plan is I do want to talk about the patch with you guys, you know, as we see it. We're gonna discuss, and also I want to go over the class changes on stream right now. And I will cut that down and use that as the class change segment of the patch notes video. For 2 reasons. Number 1, it's gonna allow me to get the opinion of people who actually play the classes in chat, because there's a lot to go over. And number 2, it's gonna save me like 4 hours in the middle of the night of just chasing information and reading through all of them. So, you know, we'll see whether people like that or not. But yeah, I'm gonna do this right now because the servers come back up in the middle of the fucking night right now, and I'd rather not pull an all-nighter again just because of the class changes. So, what time is streaming tomorrow, by the way? Is it PvE or PvP day? I mean, same as usual, right? It's gonna be around 1 my time. But as usual, I'm gonna be doing Sanctuary to begin with, right? Because that's just when my pre-made runs. So I'll run Sanctuary, and then I do want to run the new dungeon at least once if I can. Tomorrow's in Wednesday? Yes. I do want to run the new dungeon if I can. And I will absolutely do some PvP as well. Like, at some point, I'm probably going to, depending on how the patch is, I'm probably going to extend tomorrow's stream to be like 10 hours long or something. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I do need footage from the new dungeon to make the video, so I'm gonna need to run that either way. I'm gonna be running a couple of it. So if you and Sakura are around, I'll be doing it. But yeah, I mean, that's fine. Just let me know, right? Either way, I have a mix of things to do, so if you guys are around, we go. If you're not, we don't. Like, it's really that simple, right? I'm not that demanding. Video games, that's casual content, yeah. I mean, look, I might as well go through it right now because the Radiant Odal is about to get nerfed from Shugo, so yeah. And yeah, also I guess IN2 global announcement today. So, well, announcement. That might be a bit of an overstatement, but we did get a few news from that, namely the fact that they are axing the mobile client. Global. There's not going to be a mobile version. It's PC only. Which probably a good thing. And the second thing is it's on Steam, which we already knew from Datamine, but still nice to, you know, get confirmation from that. No one in the West cares about mobile. Yeah, but you know, we never know. The fact that it's not going to be on mobile is going to... It's going to play in our favor when it comes to bot management. And it's also going to help with the game's image as well, so yeah. That's why they put it on Steam. Thank God I can get rid of a fucking bubble. Yeah, exactly. Also, the fact that the game is on Steam indirectly is going to reduce the RMT market a little bit. Because obviously there's not going to be as many accounts for sale because it's going to be tied to your Steam account, and a lot of people are not going to be willing to sell their account. Now obviously people who already know in advance are just going to make a purple client instead because that's going to make it a lot easier to sell, but you know. That 5,000 NC coins I'm ready to swipe. God damn. So yeah, they did say though we are going to get specifically information regarding global in May, so sometime next month. Also, we also have confirmation from the Steam page that the game is getting handled by NCSoft. It's published by NCSoft, which also confirms that Tico is going to be the face of Ion in the West. XD. It's only on Steam? It's on Steam and Purple. Putting on Steam, put them on the clock as well. Well, no player number will be review bomb if they screw up. I mean, here's the thing. They're gonna get review bomb regardless because it's a KMMO. It doesn't matter, right? BDO has shit reviews. Lost Ark has shit reviews. Like, KMMOs just get shit reviews on Steam. We will get Steam numbers. That being said, there's still gonna be a decent amount of people playing on Purple for multiple reasons. So we're gonna have numbers that are going to be inaccurate. It's basically this. It's basically going to be the same thing as BDO, Final Fantasy 14, so on and so forth, right? Because there's going to be a proprietary client that a lot of people are still going to be using. Also, if there's a console version, that's also going to falsify the stuff, right? Was Tico the face for Iron Classic? No. Tico is from AGS. He was the face of Throne and Liberty. Iron Classic in NA had no representation. It was just two dickheads in an office doing their best. Like, that's it. Like, NC West wasn't really a thing, so yeah. I think we were all hoping for Gameforge. Yeah, for real, dude. Also, you're banned. Well, well, well. Yeah, it's me. But yeah, so we already have some preliminary stuff, obviously, that we got from the dev live. Now, that being said, the maintenance is starting in 30 minutes. Also, I'm going to be doing the Sugar game in 2 minutes, so look forward to that. Probably the first time I'm going to be doing Sugar game on this stream. Maybe the last time too, so. Are they even going to open Iron 2 for Belgium and New Zealand? Or Netherlands? Got to know? I mean, probably not, right? Like, typically these games are quote-unquote banned on Steam on those regions, but you can just like circumvent it. Whether you just like register an account on a different region or you just use the Purple client. The Purple client is not going to stop you from playing the game, right? And one wasn't officially distributed in this country as well. Yeah, I mean, pretty much none of these games are ever distributed in these countries. Because the thing with Belgium is that they consider fucking everything as a loot box, including bundles that you open in game, right? So like these games are never going to be available in those countries. Only need to have global launch to announce and game drop for me. Yeah, I mean, having confirmation for global is nice. There's also a non-zero chance that it's going to drop late August instead of September, based on what we know. So I guess that counts for something, right? Did they say 3:30 to 10, 7 hours maintenance? Yeah, it's 6.5 hours maintenance. Considering these maintenances tend to be extended as well, I'm fully expecting it to be more than that, like 8-9 hours. So because of the reason, I'm going to I'm going to alarm clock at 7 AM instead of 5 AM. Yeah, I'm just gonna buy myself some sleep time, assuming that I'm going to extend. I need a release date soon so I can get vacation. I mean, considering they announced that they're gonna have a live that goes over the global in May, I would assume we're gonna get a date in May, right? Also, game can be wishlist Steam like Entree. Yeah. What do you think about the Cleric changes? So Starboy, we're going to go over all of that this stream. The entire point of today's stream is going to discuss about all of these, and trust me, I'm going to go into detail. Now, I think some of my opinions you may not expect, and I'm not saying this for watch time. I am saying this for watch time. I'm not saying this for watch time. But yeah, I'm gonna do this sugar game, and then I'm gonna go over the dev live notes from Whelps, which, thank God. God bless this individual. And then after that, as soon as the server goes down, I'll pull up the patch notes and we're gonna go over them. And as I said earlier, fret not, I will be making the regular patch notes video, but I just want to go over them live with you guys as well. Hello Thrice. Mr. Shimmer, is this gameplay is ass. Is this Shugo? Yes, and that's precisely why it's dog shit. Now, I'm pretty good at up, but I'm pretty sure that because I'm streaming right now, I'm gonna get distracted and fall down, which is gonna make for good content at least. Do I like the new balance changes? The answer might surprise you. Yeah, exactly. This is basically the premise of the stream, yeah. You can't be making excuses before it starts. I will be making excuses. This is my stream and this is my cope. Alright, if I fall down, it's because of you guys. Just be made aware of that, alright? I mean, hey. Ultimately, when I stream the game, my frame rate drops, my ping raises, so I have a default excuse for everything. I don't want to hear it. On better sugar games, more forward map. I mean, at least we're going to be able to do every single sugar game on every timer now, which means we're going to be able to do not this style on every timer, which means this will be the last time you ever see anyone do up until they remove not this style from the game. You know, that's another option. I can't wait to backseat game this. Yeah, that's the point. That is the entire point. I'm not letting these heathen body block me. I know better than this. Summon Iron to release for summer. Well, about that, I don't know about this one, Chief. I mean, late August is still summer, you know? I still think it's going to be early September, but, you know. Don't let wooden hand people Taiwan win. Look, man, some of these people are gamers on this, you know? I don't have as much practice. I've only been doing this for like a couple of days. Well, yesterday to be precise. But I like up. Up is a good one. Or up might be the only good one, actually. Yeah. I hate this minigame. Up is fine. It's like one of the only good ones, to be honest. See, chat? I'm a natural born gamer. That's what I told you. Now enjoy, as this is the only time I will be doing sugar games on this stream. Ever. Alright. Good jumper. Yeah, I'm good at pressing the spacebar, dude. Streamer god at casual content confirmed. Yeah, that was my calling, dude. I can't understand Iron 2 not releasing on mobile. Make PC players happy. That will not change anything except... I mean, okay, there's two reasons for that. I mean, personally, I don't really care one way or another. But number one, it's just a looks thing, because in the West, people care a lot more about appearances than anything else, right? And a game being on mobile is a bad look for people. So that's number one. But most importantly, for me, number two is that a majority of the bot farms operate on mobile clients, and no mobile means that it's going to be harder for them to bot. Now they're still going to be able to bot, right? But it's going to mean less bots, like regardless. So that's pretty much the gist of it. Next, gathering stream. We can do that right now. Look, gathering stream confirmed, guys. In case people don't know, you can play on the purple app with your PC open. I play on my phone when my... yeah, I mean, that is also an option. And you're also going to be able to play the game on Steam Deck, I suppose. I would assume that's possible, right? So... like, if you really need to take the game remotely, I would assume you can do so on Steam Deck. Gatherer Forged, minus 2000 BC, yeah. That's me. More expensive for them to buy? Yeah. Gathering stream, finally, yeah. I mean that if game will be released through Steam, that will be less bots. It certainly will help, yeah, it will help, for sure. Now, the purple client is still gonna be a thing, but no mobile and Steam release is going to help, yeah. Also the fact that it's going to be the AGS people managing this, considering they did a really good fucking job on Throne and Liberty, managing the bots. It's, you know, I don't wanna be optimistic before the game even comes out, but you know, it's a good indicator that it's not gonna be as bad as on Taiwan at the bare minimum. 100 sub goal for 24-hour calendar stream. All right. Stop it. Alright, so anyways, we have 23 minutes until the servers go down, so we're gonna go over a couple of things. Okay, let me just do this actually. This? Yeah, okay. Let me just build this on the side, I guess. Yeah. You guys can see that, right? Yeah, it's good enough. We're not gonna go over this for very long anyways. Okay, so they started by saying this is the amount of feedbacks they got from the zoom in a bit. Can I? Yes, I can, yeah. This should be fine. This should be fine, right? So they started by saying this is the amount of feedback they got from the live event, which is pretty funny. It's pretty funny that they got as many PvP feedback as they got UI like feedback. That's pretty cool. Also, nobody gives a shit about Legion content. No mobile for global? Yes, that was confirmed. There's no mobile for at least right now they say there's no mobile planned for global. So this is going to be in the patch notes. So we're going to skip that for now, because we're gonna take a look at this on the patch notes later. This is the stuff for the future. So I guess this is interesting. PvP gear progress change. Now, I don't know if anyone knows if they went into more detail to that. I wonder what they mean by that. I wonder if they are going to remove the AP requirement on PvP gear. Like that is my current guess, right? Do you plan to change to block build Cleric? So right now it's obviously the more dominating meta. That being said, with the patch that we're getting tonight, there's other metas that could possibly build up, and because of that, I don't want to do any knee-jerk reactions because I can't really afford to go back and forth on builds, right? And it's not like I'm doing bad right now, so I want to wait and see exactly how PvP is going to feel before I take any reactions. Look at how to massacre my boy Cleric. I'm not really of this opinion, but we'll discuss that in a second. What's the report for the 38 pages Kowalski? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was wondering. What the fuck is a 38-page report? So, different effect for different grades of Theostones. So, this one, people were saying, oh my god, they're going to make it so gold Theostones do multiple things. No, dude, that's not what that means. If you played Iron 1, what this means is cosmetic. It just means that a paralysis Theostone will have a different cosmetic effect depending on the grade of the stone, which is exactly what it did on Iron 1. So don't panic, right? Cleric will be fine. I think so too. Gold Theostones even exist. I mean, technically speaking, gold Theostones are not that bad to go after. It's just another like resource expense, right? And has come back from a while, yeah. Buff window improvement, this is great, because right now, buff windows, you're limited to, I think it's like 8 or 9 buffs, and then it just truncates and it makes a plus, and you can't increase the size of them. So if they change both of these things, huge W. Throne and Liberty could never, right? Back front indicator, I was fucking certain they would never do this, by the way. Because if you guys remember at the beginning of the game during a dev live, they said, we don't want to do this because sometimes the monsters like heading, like visual heading isn't accurate because of animation getting cut, right? So I'm surprised they're doing this. Quick question about the game. Is there a free transmog option, kind of like WoW, without having to buy costumes from the premium store? Yes. Every single piece of equipment in the game, all of them, every single piece of equipment in the game can be converted into a skin that gets added to a wardrobe that you can use infinitely. What I'm using right now is only in-game skins, right? But you can, like all of these, you can equip them infinitely. You can switch skin. The skin system in this game is amazing. There you go. And honestly, the in-game skins are better than the store ones. But that's just my opinion, man. Let's see. Mobile HUD size improvement. That's pretty funny. I think this is the only mobile update we've seen in like 4 months. That's pretty funny. Unless you are a gooner. I mean, hey. Even the in-game skins have some gooner options, right? Let's see. Where's the Alu say? It's Alu, right? Where's the goon at? I don't think I have the full set, so maybe it's down there. Yeah, this one. That's a bit of a gooning situation, if you ask me. And that's an in-game set, right? Yeah. There's some goonage going on. Not good enough. Hello, Shag. And to change your character's appearance, like the hair, is that a premium feature? Yes. It's done through this, and you have to pay 600 kuna for that. Which is... How much is 600 kuna? It's like $5, I think. Yeah. Also, let me revert back to my... Oh, wait. Whoops, I accidentally unequipped my skin, chat. Well, I guess we're having this skin for now. Yeah. Let's go back to our old skin, chat. The pauldrons, I don't have them equipped anyways. Let's see, it's this one, and then I don't remember which one it is. It's one of these now. Yeah, there we go. And then it's this one. I don't really have any like. Yeah, this one is good enough. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Fixed. Mistakes were made. Nah, it's easy mistake to fix. Guna skin stream? No way, bro. Okay, so all of this is going to be, we're going to cover in the patch notes. So let me see if there's anything else that wasn't from this patch. I would assume most of it is, forgot the horns. Oh, wait. Yeah, I forgot to make them visible. You're right. You're right for that. You missed the horns, dude. Yeah. I did equip them, I forgot to show them. Patch seemed very disheartening for who got the buffs and who got nerfed. Feels like Sane Ranger Glad got nerfed. We're going to go over all of that. Alright. Yeah, no more damage boost. That's pretty. Yeah, I think everything else is within the patch, right? I mean, I guess we can go over a couple of things. I mean, okay, you guys are mostly awaiting my cleric opinion, right? Which is fair. So I'm going to go over some of my cleric opinions before we get into the actual patch notes. So let's start with the more broad changes, right? Which are these. There's a couple of other ones, but let's go over these ones. So the main takeaway here is that Cleric is losing its damage synergy. It's losing its tolerance buffs. And it's basically trading healing cooldown for healing potency. These are the main takeaways, right? Now, I'm going to be honest, and I know this may surprise you. I actually like these changes. I know. Big fucking surprise. I actually like these changes. For a multitude of reasons. Let me start with the healing. So, the thing with the healing on Cleric right now is it's basically just spam, right? You're able to just constantly spam, especially if you take the CD reduction CDs. There's no planning. In PvE, there's no planning, right? It's just, you basically just heal as soon as someone is losing health. In PvP, you're basically spamming healing light, and then you're using Radiant Recovery on cooldown, right? And like, that's all there's to it, right? You don't have to time anything. You don't have to check for anything. You don't have to keep anything. You just spam, right? And it's problematic because that is also one of the reasons that led healing to be nerfed so heavily in PvP areas. Because it's fucking impossible to balance healing when you can just fucking spam healing. Also, it basically makes Cleric this infinite healing bank for some classes that has no counters, where you're never really punished as a Cleric for misusing your heals. And you never really have to plan your heals properly. So this kind of addresses that. Now, it's not going to be as drastic as people think it's going to be. Because with Illusion, like Radiant Recovery right now with Illusion is a 5-second cooldown. If you use the CD reduction spec, it's 3 seconds, right? So it's going to go to 14 seconds. So basically, it's going to be a 9 to 10 second cooldown. But on the flip side, the debuff removal is now a default spec, and the extra incoming heal is kind of going to be less useful, which means that you're actually going to be able to slot in the cooldown reduction. So in practice, it's basically going to go from a 5-second cooldown to an 8-second cooldown, which isn't that massive. But on the flip side, the skill is now incredibly faster, and it basically heals you for more than double the amount. Which means that basically the way you're going to want to use Radiant Recovery is that you're actually going to have to wait until your HP drops low before you use it, ideally. And this is supported by Light of Regen. Let's see, which one is it? What was the buff again? Yeah, Light of Regen doesn't have... Okay, I think the tolerance changed. Light of Regen doesn't have the tolerance buff anymore. Light of Regen has different buffs now, which I guess we'll go over when we go up there, right? And Healing Light, because Healing Light is not spammable anymore, it's still going to be fairly spammable because 6 seconds. So right now with Illusion, it's like 1.5 seconds, and then you use the -2 second spec that reduces it to 0 second. So with this, it's basically going to be a 3-second cooldown that you reduce by 2 seconds. So it's basically going to have a 1-second cooldown. But this is going to be spammable still. It's just that instead of just like doing this, now you're going to be doing this, which is more reasonable. Like, it's still, I don't think it's that big of a nerf. But then on the flip side, the healing amount is doubled. And also, you don't need Light of Regen to be active to use it anymore. It's 6 seconds, -2 seconds. You're forgetting about Illusion. Illusion reduces the cooldown, is more effective the higher the cooldown. So the 6-second base is going to be closer to like 4 seconds. And then -2 seconds is going to be basically like between 1 and 2 seconds. So, but considering the fact that the healing amount is doubled, the fact that the cooldown is virtually doubled doesn't really change much, right? So I genuinely don't really think these are actually huge nerfs. The biggest nerfs out of these, also like there's a spec on Healing Light that heals you even further if your HP is below 50%. So Healing Light to me is buffed. Like, this is a buff. Like, yeah. Although it might actually be worth it to roll Healing Light at level 20 now, because these specs are pretty good. These specs, all of these specs are pretty good now, because the 50% chance to remove additional debuffs in PvP might be valuable, because Radiant Recovery is going from 2 debuffs to 1 debuff. And because it's less spammable, as a Cleric, you're going to be you're going to be impacted by debuffs a lot more. Now, that being said, there's going to be a lot less debilitating debuffs to go around. Namely, because they removed most of the damage tolerance debuffs from every classes, right? So you're going to have less to remove, essentially. But this, we're going to have to see exactly how this works, but this could be valuable. This is insane, by the way. This, dude, this in combination with this, Healing Light is going to be fucking cracked, dude. I don't think you guys realize how cracked Healing Light is going to be. Now, again, we're going to have to see exact amounts, right? But Healing Light right now, it's healing like basically 4k, right? With these changes, Healing Light is going to heal you for like 8k. Like 8k. That is a huge buff. Even though, yes, you do have a 2-second cooldown, but it's going to be a huge healing buff. So, yeah. And incidentally, something else that you have to keep in mind is because you're going to be spending less time healing, because your healing have a longer cooldown, but at the same time, you're healing for more when you use them. That means you're going to have more time to hit to do DPS, right? Both in PvP and PvE, right? Because you're going to have to commit less into healing. Because instead of just running around like a moron spamming Healing Light, right? You're basically going to do DPS. You're going to do DPS. And if you drop to like 40% HP, your Radiant Recovery, recover almost back to full. Maybe you use one Healing Light, and then you go back to DPS, right? So, can you skip to the part of the summary while you tell me what my new main is? Ah, yes. Your new main is... Let me throw a dot real quick. Your new main is Sorcerer. I'm sorry. But yeah, on the healing side, honestly, this isn't nearly as bad as people think. Like, I genuinely think, if anything, this might actually be a buff. And I'm not even kidding. Also, Light of Regen now, so we can go over the other one. Let's see. Light of Regen, okay. Light of Regen now doesn't give tolerance anymore, so it gives tolerance here. Basically, the damage tolerance from Healing Light was moved to Debilitating Mark. Because Debilitating Mark now reduces damage boost on the afflicted target. Which means that ideally, you're going to want to cover Debilitating Mark and run the 5% tolerance on Light of Regen. And it's functionally going to do the same thing as the current tolerance on Light of Regen. It's just that it's going to be debuff dependent now. So if you're fighting a Cleric, you're going to want to actively pod this. Because this is reducing your damage, right? This is basically the main change on the tolerance change, right? Okay, so now the Light of Regen spec, this one, second spec, when below 50% HP, heal power plus 50%. So now, the one thing that I'm confused about that is this for the Light of Regen effect? Or does it just give you 50% more healing potency when you're below 50% to all of your heals? This is one thing that I do want to check out on the patch notes, because that was pretty unclear. And Welbs didn't really elaborate on that during the live stream, so I am wondering on that. If it increases your healing power by 50% when below 50% HP, that's fucking insane. I don't think it's gonna be that, but you know. Also, these two specs are basically moved from Light of Protection, which we're gonna go over Light of Protection. Yeah, what time is it? 25. I guess I can talk about it a bit. So Light of Protection, right? I don't think it's gonna be worth running Light of Protection anymore. So in PvP, it's 100% not gonna be worth it to run it. I honestly believe so. We'll have to see, right? Because there's a lot we have to experiment as a Cleric the coming days. Namely, because we're gonna have a new stigma, and we have a few existing stigmas getting changed. So basically, we are in desperate need of slots to try shit out, and LOP might be the one to go. Because 10% perfect is good in a group. Don't get me wrong, it's a good buff. but it doesn't stack with Undefeated Mantra anymore. Which means that if you're running with a Chanter, you're never going to run this anyway. And basically, you're only going to run this if you're playing as a solo Cleric. But then the only thing that you're really giving the group is 10% perfect. Which is good, but it's mostly good for certain classes like Elementalist or Spirit Master, I should say. And it's debatable whether it's going to be better than, let's say, running Amplification, right? Now, that being said, Earth Grace is getting nerfed, right? Yeah, Earth Grace is getting nerfed. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. LOR, Spec 2 should be only healing from LOR. Okay, we'll see. I mean, if that's the case, that's a bit lame, because the regen effect is kind of fucking useless on Light of Regen, but I guess we'll see, right? So Earth Grace is not a damage boost buff anymore. It's only a self crit damage boost and accuracy buff. So 07 Clerics, I know that pretty much all of us across the globe are running max Earth Grace on our PvE gear, because right now it's a cracked PvE buff, right? For the entire group. With this, in light of this change, it's still going to be a good buff for ourselves. So I think we're still going to be running it, but obviously it's not going to be as sought after, right? So 07. Have they mentioned Chain of Torment, actually? Had they removed the Torrent's debuff from Chain of Torment? I would assume they did, right? Because they removed it from Debilitating Mark. I mean, okay. Debilitating Mark has a 5% Torrent's reduction now, down from 13%. I don't know if the defense reduction is still here. I'm not sure on that. I guess that's one of those things we're gonna see on the patch, right? But yeah, overall, I will say on the Cleric side of things, honestly, it's mostly good changes. Gameplay-wise, it's gonna be less spammy on the heal. We're gonna be less of a buff bot, basically. And we're basically going to be finally free of the Light of Protection shackle. Also, Light of Protection is a mantra now, so no more dispelling and everything, which I guess doesn't really matter because I don't know if we're gonna be running this in PvP anymore. And one of the reasons why I'm not sure if we're gonna be running this on PvP anymore is because, let's see, of this. Yeah. So, Healing Aura, so this one, this Stigma, now follows you around. And hello, Dida. Healing Aura now follows you around. So, the thing with Healing Aura is that it actually lasts for a decent amount, right? It lasts for like 20 seconds, I think. And it heals an okay amount. It increases your defense and attack, which is actually like, you actually get value from the attack now. So Healing Aura might actually be the replacement for LOP, in PvP at least. That is my current assessment, right? Now that being said, Voice of Doom could also be a contender, because with healing getting buffed on Cleric, but Dispel getting nerfed, as well as Chanter getting a healing buff, Voice of Doom might be value to run, because you might be able to cover Voice of Doom on other Clerics. Now, the only caveat to that is Absolution, obviously, right? Absolution is still a full Dispel, so you're gonna have to bait Absolution before you use that. But it's now more of an option, right? Alright, maintenance has started. Yippee! Unless the patch notes says otherwise, yeah, exactly. That's why I want to check the patch notes more so than this for those, because there is some missing information. Patch note is up? Alright. Just bring it up real quick. Ah, yes. Infinite loading. My favorite. Wait. Bro. Oh, fuck. The Korean page now brings up the French page for me by default because they added the thing. Man. Okay, can I just cheat? Okay, let me just go on this. Okay, this should work. Yeah, okay, this works. Alright. There we go. Alright. Does this cover... Okay, no, this doesn't cover anything. Thank you, Yukini. Evading with manual block? Yeah. Alright. We're gonna go over everything. We're gonna go over the class changes, obviously, but we're gonna go over everything in order now. So let's see. New expedition. Portion of kina obtainable from the expeditional energy has been transferred to the spoils list, which is added upon intimidated boss scale. Yeah, this is something that they talked about on the live. So basically, one boss runs are dead. This is basically what this means. Because now the kina is obtained from mini bosses as well. So let's say if the end chest had 300k kina, right? Now the end chest is going to have 100k, and each mini boss is going to give you an additional 100k. So basically, one boss runs are dead. GG's. Application of Sanctuary Resurrection rules. Worth it to run all bosses? It's not even that it's going to be worth it to run all bosses. It's going to be the only way to run dungeons. Like if you're running one boss runs, you are actively fucking griefing yourself. Because there's still the diminishing return based on the amount of chests open, right? So, yeah. Middle boss room and boss room, the number of resurrection through skills and direct resurrection raising spirits and resurrection combined to make a total of 2 revival possible. So this basically means that you're going to have 2 lives in a Sanctuary now. And it's going to be across every class, and it's going to be across every resurrection method. So self-res stones are going to be usable, and you're going to be able to resurrect up to 2 times per boss, per pull. So yeah, that's what that means. Which essentially means that Cleric will not have to run resurrection anymore, right? People can just self-res if they need to, and then you can just run a more useful stigma. So yeah. If I run a 100% run, none of them, yeah. Instant completion. Can't regard without paying dungeons. Yeah, okay. So this is, you're gonna be able to instant clear Nightmare Dungeon without entering the dungeon if you've already cleared the tier. But you're not going to earn rankings doing an instant clear anymore, which makes sense. It makes sense. Only Sanctuary 2 is time res? Yes. Well, is it also on Ludra? Wait. Also, it doesn't specify which one. Maybe it will specify later. I think this is just like Sanctuary as a whole. Yeah. So it's gonna be Ludra and Bargot, both of them. Yeah. What if you die twice? You just stay dead on the ground if you die twice. If that's the case, why bother bring a Cleric? Because of the damage and the spells. Because we're gonna see this later, but class Life Leech got nerfed as a whole. So you ideally, we'll see in practice how this works, right? But on paper, you're actually going to want a Cleric to heal you now. And Cleric is also like one of the main source of dispels as well, so yeah. Also, Cleric is like, stuff like Absolution is the only way to save certain scenarios in Sanctuary. Like let's say on Bargot, if you have a DPS in your group that misses a stack, you need to Absolution immediately. Otherwise they will die from the other stack. So Cleric is still useful, it's just not a res bot anymore. You can cheese second boss of Sanctuary 2 with Invincible. I mean, you were already doing this with the Cleric, right? No need for Cleric in PvE modes? I don't think so. Genuinely, I think Cleric is going to be fine. But again, it's going to be dependent on like how significant the Life Leech nerfs are. We'll see. It's one of those things where we have to play the game. Want to hear what's new with SM? Brother, you're gonna be in for a treat because SM changed quite a bit. You can remove the side spawn barrier for doing a bug on second Sanctuary on Sanctuary 2. Yeah, but then you're getting banned. So don't do that actually. Like the people who did the barrier bugs on subjugation and what do we call it? Ascension Trial got banned, so don't do that. So that's nightmare. Boss attack power, damage amplification, nightmare downgraded. Life absorption, life scheme. Yeah. So bosses in nightmare are going to do less damage, basically. because Life Leech got nerfed, so in consequence, like, boss will do less damage. Makes sense, you know. Dimensional Invasion key reroll changed by server, so this is Barutra Invasions. I mean, this is the same thing as with Hugo, right? Like, whatever. I don't think most people were running these on every fucking character anyways. You know, you can fly back in the arena on the last new Sanctuary boss if you died. The bar is not full. Yeah, but I mean, again, it's one of those things where probably don't do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know. Okay, so this is daily duties. Daily duties are server-based now, so you're not going to be able to run them on alt anymore, which, again, you kind of have to be a psychopath to be doing this anyway, so whatever. Okay, so sieges now are 2 times a week, on Wednesday and Saturday. That's it. So only 2 sieges. And Abyss bosses also got moved to be fixed. Like Kyra, I believe this is Kyra and Argos. So Kyra and Argos are fixed on Wednesday, Saturday, 10:30. So basically right after Siege. And then Nama is Friday and Sunday at 10 p.m. So no more like Abyss bosses every day and one less Siege, basically. I'm guessing they're going to update the whatchamacallit. The rewards in consequence, right? Also, these are the new pairings. These are Korean pairings, so just ignore them. Yeah. Immune treatment of crowd control on boards when road will be updated to the Baroda. Yeah, okay. So this is because, I mean, if you do middle rush PvP, you will know. People were basically hiding under some of the wind streams with Templars and Rangers and stuff like that, like classes that can push you out of the windstream. Basically, they were hiding under ledges to push you out of windstreams and make you fall and die on certain windstreams. So I'm guessing this is going to address that, right? Guardian Kidney Nama, yeah. Ladies and alls for the patch crystals. Yeah, well, is Kaisenol a good server? I mean PvP. I don't think we've ever got a matching against Kaisenol, so I would not be able to tell you. I don't remember if we did. I genuinely don't. So this is the change for the siege. This is the change for the bosses. Okay, so field boss will now have a 30 minutes time limit. So rip Bakama, who was taking 5 hours to kill a boss. Yeah. Now you're on a fucking timer, brother. Good luck. Abyss Corridor. So Abyss Corridors are down to 2-minute duration instead of 5 minutes, which, okay, personally I don't really mind Corridor to be 5 minutes, but you know, sure, less time spent, I guess. And they're also going to basically more than double the amount of AP you get from it. So you're basically going to get the same shit, but you're going to be spending less time in it. That's basically what it is, yeah. And the corridors is now a solo instance. So it's only going to be the central room. Yeah, it's only going to be the central room, and it's going to be a solo instance. Yeah. Yeah, so obviously the tokens from Nama are gonna change to 3 days because the Nama spawn timings are changing. So this is inconsequential. Yeah, they added a few new missions, so we're gonna be able to get. And hey guys, lo and behold, what did I fucking tell you? Don't go in the abyss to farm 18 hours a day to get the potential stones because they're going to add them into season mission. Whoop whoop, what do you know? They did. So we're gonna be able to get abyss potential stones from doing season missions now and weeklies. So you won't have to farm mobs anymore for these. Also, we're gonna be able to get we're able to get like extra goodies. I think Welp said we're going to get like some boss boxes from participating, from killing them. So more medals basically. Modification made to the mirrored box converted to magic. Okay, so they are dealing with the base boss. Okay. So they're going to increase the amount of medals within chests, which cool. Okay, we're gonna be able to get abyss potential stones from the boxes as well. Shugo games. So now you're going to be able to do any Shugo game at any time, which means you're only ever going to do the tile minigame, and cheat. So GG's, I guess. Yeah, they are slightly nerfing the drops on Shugo as well. It's a slight nerf. It's not major, but it's a slight nerf. Yeah. Chaos changes. Okay, we're going to go over these at the end. Okay, I'm going to go past all of these for now. Well, close your eyes, chat. Close your eyes. And we're going to go over all of these after we're done with the rest. All right. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Oh my god. Alright, so. Okay, well that's probably good. Yeah, they're just bulk tuning Stonecraft, which, yeah, just save time. I guess you're not going to sleep today. Well, joke's on you, because I will. I'm gonna alarm clock at 7 AM, so I'm gonna sleep a bit. Can we open our eyes? Yes. 17 minutes to throw anybody Russian? Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Okay. So when you convert Ariel boards and I mean when you convert Davanium boards into soul codexes, it's going to give you twice the amount now. Which I guess I should have kept them. Oh well. I'm not gonna cry over it. Fine. Yeah, okay. So you're gonna be able to sell dungeon gear now. So if you have gold gear that you don't need, you can sell it to the NPC for 100k now. Now that being said, I don't know why you would do that. Because you kinda always want to keep gold dungeon gear. Inheritance stones, potential stones, so on and so forth, right? So, yeah. 1% per stage, yes. Yo, don't spoil Akiran, what's this? Yo, don't look, don't look. Yeah, they are equalizing the two orange paintings from the auction house, which, I mean, from the bosses, which is pretty funny. It is pretty funny. Because they basically jumped from like 100 mil to like 500 mil the moment they said that. Alright, so potions are getting buffed. They are getting buffed, so it's gonna be based on percentage of health for a maximum amount of 10,000. Now, the maximum amount is not going to be quite relevant for now, because I don't think many people are going to exceed 100,000 health. But yeah, basically potions are going to be a lot more value now. Like basically right now, if you're using a potion, it heals you for like how much? Like 2k or something? Now it's going to heal you for... With the new HP buff, it's going to be like 6, 7... Oh, fuck. Whatever, man. Whatever. Moving on. Ban yourself. I didn't even do it on purpose. That's the fucking... Whatever, man. Combat power improvement. Yeah, they're just like changing the values of combat power. Whatever, like this is irrelevant. This is just funny blue number goes haha, so... UI improvements. Let's see. Strengthening step is... Okay, yeah, so this is when you're using an item that is enhanced, it tells you the enhancement level in the name of the item. I'm guessing this is also going to be the case for upcrafting. Yeah. And hence this the crafting link. Yeah, I mean, again, this is just for upcrafting QOL. Yeah. Yeah, this is basically you're gonna be able to see how many tickets people have in Sanctuary, which I don't know why this is a problem. I mean, I guess for Pogs maybe it's a problem. Yeah, maybe if you specifically want to run like 4 times and someone only joins with only 1 ticket, then you just don't take them, right? But yeah, you're gonna be able to do that. This is pretty cool, and this happens at the right time. I'm glad they're doing this. Stigma respects are going to be free for 1 week, and trust me, across this entire next week, you're gonna see me jump from spec to spec on Cleric. I'm gonna be testing a bunch of shit. So yeah, this is really good, especially for Cleric, considering the entire class is changing, and we're gonna have to change our stigma loadout. Like this is quite significant. Just need to make it free permanently. Yeah, I don't disagree. Even if you want to keep a fee, like right now it's too much. It's like 750k for a level 20 reset. Like this shit sucks, and you're not even able to take away like 1 level from a stigma. Like whenever you want to take away 1 level, because sometimes you just want to like downgrade something to level 15 to upgrade something else, but you have to reset the whole thing. Like fuck, dude. So yeah, this is great. Odil Energy Pass. This is a Kina Pass. It's going to give us extra dungeons 3 times per server. So you're going to be able to use this on your main as well as 2 ults, and it only costs 1 million Kina. So yeah, you're going to be running a lot more dungeons this week across the board. Yeah, like extra dungeon boss tickets and so on and so forth. Extra Odil energy. Yeah. Okay, that's bug fix. Simultaneously manipulating the phenomenon zone. Okay, well. Yeah, that was annoying, so yeah. Yeah, this is like the end boss for Sanctuary 2 was just like standing still, not doing anything. When you were in the middle of the... whatchamacallit? I think it was the chain bomb, right? He was just kind of standing here. Weapon shown back to Iron 1. Yeah. Options are added to allow weapons to be shown in non-combat states. So it's still not going to display in flight, but you know. Now I'm wondering one thing. Is this basically going to make it so the idle pose, you know the one where you whip out your weapon, is basically going to be active at all times? Or is this going to actually be like Iron 1, where your weapon is sheathed, right? I have a feeling it's just gonna be the first one, but I guess we'll see. But my weapon will block the view of my character's ass. Then you just keep it off. Regardless of a tuning method and registration, will be able to choose the option you want to tune. Hello, La Para. Okay, yeah. So this is if you're not using soulbind stones and you're using gear, it's going to... you won't have to reselect the slot every time. Basically, that's what it is, which is pretty fucking annoying, yeah. So that's good. New patch today? Hell yeah, brother. And it's a big one. It's a big one. Completion method with yeah, okay, that's good. But for some reason, if you were mouse overing items that you had equipped, your game would freeze for like a frame. Like, huh? So yeah, thank God. When a top-ranked player dies, the death location is displayed on the world map. LOL. That's funny. This information is not displayed in the Abyss and dungeons. Okay, so I guess this is only for rifting then? Is that what it is? I guess this is only for rifting, yeah. That's an odd one, but I guess. I mean, okay. I'm wondering, right? I'm wondering. Are they doing this because of AP trading and rank trading? Because people are using rifting to do that shit. Right? So now if you have a high rank player kill trading and rifting, it's gonna be like, Governor Dipshit died here like 50 times. Which is pretty funny. And if they did it for that, that's incredibly based. But they should also add it to the Abyss. I don't know. Maximum number of stacks of Diamond crystals from 1,000 to 10,000. Yeah, good. Now it can be done in the Abyss. It's harder to trade in the Abyss because you're just always in the way. Now in lower Abyss there are nooks and crannies where people can trade, like under the main platform and stuff like that, and people do that. But you know, that's why they should add it to the Abyss, man. Demon region, the problem. Yeah. Giant disc, yeah. There's also a tiny island, and there's like a gap in the central platform too. Yeah. Want to play my race filter. XD. Damn, racism was getting punished, man. That's crazy. Transcendence, trying Sanctuary, trying again. Okay. Low in the Sanctuary UI. Ah, that's what was happening. Okay. Yeah, because some people were posting pictures of people with like really high gear, but with like shitty combat power. So I guess that's because of that. Okay. Makes sense. Okay. I think I missed something though. It's supposed to be on this patch, right? Because they mentioned that breakthrough on armor is going to give you percent HP. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there we go. There it is. Yeah, I just forgot to read that. Okay. So that is going to be 35% HP extra. Basically, if you have a full breakthrough armor, once you log in, you're gonna have like 35% HP extra. Now, granted, I think the percentage is based off of your base HP, right? So for me as a cleric, I think I'm gonna have like 55 to 60k HP. I think so, yeah. All this shit is causing me brain damage. It's gonna be okay. Alright, now chat, here's the big one. So before we begin this segment, I am probably going to be using this footage for my patch notes video today because there is a lot of changes and I don't necessarily want to spend 4 hours in the middle of the night going over these. So we're just going to go over these right now, and then I'm going to edit it down before the server comes up, and then I'll use this segment for the YouTube video. So say hi YouTube. I think I'm also going to keep discussions we have around the balance. Now, for the future viewers on YouTube, you let me know if in the future it's okay if I do this on stream, specifically this segment, and whether you just want me in the edit, whether you want me to only leave the reading and explanation of the changes, or if you're okay with also including the discussion surrounding these. You let me know. For this one, I'm going to leave most of the discussion we'll have around these. All right, everyone said hi. We're good to move on. All right, excellent. So class changes. Damage amplification, damage tolerance increasing effect is separated into PvE, PvP damage amplification. Damage tolerance increasing effect. Existing damage amplification and tolerance figures are changed to PvE damage amplification, PvE damage tolerance increase figures. Okay. All right. So what this means is damage tolerance and damage boost is essentially not changing in PvE, except for the fact that you're gonna see later most of the damage boost buff from most classes are getting axed, right? But in PvP, the value for all of these are going to get halved. So basically your damage boost, and thank you for the sub, Andrew. Bro, really wanted it to be in the video. Appreciate it. So basically your damage boost and damage tolerance values are going to be halved in PvP, which is honestly a good thing because both of these values were too much for PvP. Damage proportional to health absorption effect is changed to health absorption effect. So 5% health absorption equals 5% health absorption proportional to damage amount. Maximum cap of 10% of health plus 5% recovery proportional to maximum health. Okay. Okay. So this is a bit confusing. So, okay. So basically, the percent HP absorption on your skills are going to absorb 5% of the damage dealt, but for a maximum amount of 10% equivalent to your maximum HP, and additionally 5% proportional to your maximum health. I think that's what this means, right? So long story short, and this is both for PvE and PvP. So let's say you hit a mob for 10,000 damage with a health absorption, right? So now you're going to, if your life leech is 10%, what it's going to do is that it's going to give you 1,000 HP healed. Okay, no, it's going to give you 500 HP healed. No, okay, 10%. Okay, it's going to give you 1,000 HP healed plus 5% of maximum health. So plus, I'm guessing this is also 10%. So it's going to give you 1,000 plus 1,000, which I guess is a bad example because basically these are going to be the same value. But yeah, basically you're going to be healing for 10% of the damage with an additional 10% if the HP drain value of the skill is 10%. I had to sub so it doesn't happen anymore. Exactly, brother. Yeah, I hope that made sense. But yeah, that's basically what this means, right? So there's going to be two sides to HP drain. There's going to be the damage proportional and then a fixed value. I think that's what this means. All right. Teleportation skill, teleportation directing time is demoted by combat speed. I think this is mostly for Sork, right? Oh, I think it's... Does this also include like gap closes that teleport you, like Shadow Step? But yeah, basically TPs are going to be faster now. I think it's all dash skills. It might be all dash skills, yeah. Yeah, so I guess combat speed is going to impact the speed of gap closes. Yeah. All right, sword tests. So this is gladiator, right? So sharp blow, blow of rupture, blow of anger, reckless blow. So basically this is like on gladiator, all of the life leech effects across the board on gladiator are getting reduced to... They're basically getting reduced by between 50 to 90%. That's basically what you're looking at here. Basically all of your life leech skills on gladiator are getting reduced from their base by 50 to 90%. Yeah. Okay, and your blood leech stigma, which I'm sure a gladiator will confirm the skill or the name of that in chat, now gives a group buff, a party buff that gives a buff for 20 seconds that lets the group leech 7% of damage dealt. Which I guess will now be your equivalent of... It's basically going to be your quote-unquote mitigation as a tank gladiator. It is a green icon, isn't it? Isn't it a red icon? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong scale. But yeah, that's basically what it is. Fierce blow, competition, fierce blow, defeat. Armor wave, prevent concentration. And I wish these transitions were not so wacky, but basically you're getting a PvE damage boost across the board. Yeah. I sent you in Discord. Ah, okay, I see. Armor wave is the red one. Yeah. So basically PvE damage boost on gladiator across the board, and retention time changes. Armor of waves. Oh, that's isn't that the thing that it's not a reflect, it's a thing that pulsates damage around you, isn't it? I think that's the one, right? Armor waves is the AoE pulsing stigma where it does damage every few seconds, buff mode robust. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so increased damage and the damage reduction is changed. Yeah. And the block skill now lowers your evasion. So if you're running evasion on gladiator, like one of the problem is when you were using your block skill, evasion took priority on it, which is bad because you actually have skills that trigger on block on gladiator. So now that won't be a problem anymore, because the block skill would basically prevent you from evading. This damage will help Sanctuary clear Sanctuary 2 faster. Not necessarily, because at the end of the day, they nerfed damage boost across the board. So every class is going to lose DPS because of the damage boost nerf. And also a bunch of classes lost their synergy. So this PvE damage boost is basically a compensation for the reduction in damage boost. Like, I don't think this is going to change the DPS much compared to now. Patronage. This is Templar. So Templar is the same thing. All of your life leech are basically getting nerfed between 50 to 90%. And they are increasing the threat on judgment. Okay. They are increasing the damage, the PvE damage for punishment, which again, it's not really a buff considering the damage boost change. No more point to keep damage boost on weapon. For PvE, yeah. And I mean, damage boost is still good. It's just that in PvP, the effectiveness is halved. in PvE, the effectiveness is not getting changed. It's just that less classes are going to provide damage boost. We're mostly going to see that later with the classes that give a lot of buffs, like Cleric, Chanter, and Elementalist and stuff like that, right? Okay, so the charge skill, basically the charge is increasing damage more, which I think is a change that is across every class, which makes sense because charge skills kind of feel bad to use right now. And saying and in PvP the charge is also getting increased, which makes sense. And hello, Ugus. Back to Trinity system. Yeah, they are trying to restore the Trinity basically. That it certainly feels that way. But yeah, overall for Templar and Glad, right? You're going to have slightly less self-sustain, but you're gonna the damage is not really going to change. And like that's pretty much a caveat here. Gladiator is indirectly getting buffed in group play because a lot of classes are losing their group buffs, their group attack buffs. Gladiator is not losing the kills, but we're gonna see that in just a bit. Alright, party synergy skills change. Blow of protection. So this is warding strike. How much damage boost is gone though? I mean, again, we'll see with the classes, right? But it's mostly in group play. Yeah, like the damage boost. I believe the damage boost from Cleric and Chanter are gone, right? Like those are gone. Earth Grace, Earth Grace is gone. So like yeah, these two classes, like the damage boost from these two classes are gone. And I think a lot of the passives that gave damage boost are getting changed as well. But yeah, so Warding Strike. So the 20% increase in party member damage resistance in Specializations 5 is adjusted to increase PvE damage resistance by 10% and PvP damage resistance by 5%. Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. Warding Strike has built-in damage torrents, doesn't it? So it gives 20% to the Templar, right? And then there is a spec to expand that to the group. And basically the bit that is getting expanded to the group is getting changed to this, right? Now, I'm assuming, based on what they said, that the value for the Templar is going to be unchanged in PvE, but in PvP it's probably going to be 10%, over 20%, right? So basically this is a synergy nerf. Basically, if you have a Templar in the group, you're not going to be as tanky as you used to. That's basically what this is. Because the Templar is going to give you less mitigation, both in PvE and in PvP. Because right now it's 20% for the entire group. PvE it's going to be 10, PvP is going to be 5 now. Shield of Netzakan. Okay, so Netzakan is getting buffed. Yeah. The shield from Shield of Netzakan is getting buffed. Comrade protection, so this is the bodyguard, right? Like comrade in arms, I think it's called in English. Each party member's attack damage is reduced. Caster to 50% each. Okay, so I guess this means that both parties are going to take more damage. So slight bodyguard nerf, I think this is. You're going to be taking 10% more damage from the shared damage, basically. So yeah, basically Templar is going to provide less tankiness in PvE, and is going to be less tanky and provide less tankiness in PvP. I think that means 10% less damage. I'm not quite sure, because to be shared between the caster and attack item by 40% to 50% each, but it says each, right? That's the bit that is like throwing me off. I think this means that both parties will be taking 10% more. Yeah. Alright, so skill changes. So same as Gladiator, some PvE damage increase across the board, which again, not really a buff. It's more so an offset of the damage boost stats getting moved around and removed. Argued is aggro? Yes. It's on Judgment, right? 40% more threat. Gladiator is the same, by the way. Gladiator... Which one is Gladiator? Didn't they say they would, Huh. I thought they said Overhead Slam would give more threat in the live. But it's not in there. Okay. Well. Maybe not. But at least Templar's getting more threat, yeah. Which... I guess is also to offset the fact that everyone is going to be more individual damage, but you know. I don't think Templar was struggling to hold threat anyways, and I don't think it will, even without that, but you know, whatever. Alright, so skills. So yeah, more damage across the board. Damage tolerance to a 30-second recasting time reduction effect. What the fuck is Napo? Okay, during the 3 seconds of Specialization 3, the damage tolerance reduction effect changes to a 30 recasting time. Okay. So, what skill has the third spec as a damage tolerance buff? AoE pull. Okay, thank you. So the AoE pull now doesn't reduce damage tolerance anymore. Instead, it has 30-second less cooldown, which, holy shit, more pulls, I guess. Okay, Battlefield Flag, that's a new stigma. Skill speed increased by 30%, so this is just the skill animation, right? We don't even use that in PvP. Some Templars do. I mean, I guess it's more so the Templars that Zerg, just to like keep targets at bay. But I keep getting pulled by that shit in PvP. But again, mostly in Zergs though, mostly in Zergs. And yeah, same as Gladiator, the block skill is now going to prevent you from evading. So yeah, just quality of life on this one. Sol Siong, this is Assassin? Yeah, this is Assassin. So, same thing, life leech is reduced across the board. Again, it's actually more severe on this one. Yeah, you know, it's between 50 to 90%. I guess. Now this one is a bit funny, but honestly it's a good thing. Is Iron 2 off because of maintenance? Yes, maintenance is ongoing. So this is hard goal, right? So instead of draining 20% of the damage, it's going to drain 1.5% now. So, you know. Which... it might even still be too much because, bro, hard goal, like a low ping assassin, like a low ping native assassin uses that shit like 20 times per fucking second, dude. And I'm not even kidding. So again, on the side of life leech, we have to see exactly in game how it feels, right? Because we have all of this on paper, we have to see exactly how it feels. Because with the rate of fire of assassin, any amount of life leech, any amount, is still going to be a lot. Yeah, dude, they fuck us with skills. I mean, Life Leech had to go, right? Life Leech had to go. So, it is what it is, right? PvP balance modification. Alright, finally. So, Assassin right now, for anyone who doesn't do PvP, Assassin is a little strong. it's a little strong, right? So, it was in need of a bit of a nerf. Hard poke, yeah. Teen healing was better than Cleric. Yeah, it's kind of fucking stupid. So we'll see exactly with the attack speed how much this impacts them in reality. Now at least they won't be able to just turn around and hard go a mob once to go back to full health. But I still think the life leech is going to be there. It's just going to be less obnoxious. Okay, contract of avoidance. This is evasion contract. Projectile immunity specialized changed from 50% to 25%. So the okay, so evasion contract across the board nerfed by 50%. Honestly, the one that is going to probably matter the most is this one, right? Because this one went crazy. Like on evasion assassin, if you had multiple people on you or if you had mobs on you, this shit was basically making everything like you basically had no cooldowns, right? So yeah, I don't know how valuable this one was in terms of the projectile evasion. Like maybe an assassin can tell me. I don't know how valuable that was. And yeah, this, I mean, this is it's a significant nerf. It's not that big though, but you know. Pattern explosion. This is Insignia explosion. PvP damage reduced by 5%. Mind you, Insignia explosion right now on a full PvP geared person does upwards to 10k fucking damage. So yeah, considering you're able to spam this literally every like 2 or 3 seconds with the cooldown reduction on left click, I think that's warranted, you know? Surprise attack, PvP damage, real PvP damage is reduced by 5%. I mean, same thing. Trunniel's dagger, PvP damage reduced by 5%. Overall, this is not like that significant. It is significant, especially because the HP amount is going up. But damage tolerance is also going down, right? Like you do have to keep that in mind. The overall wealth of damage tolerance is going to go down. So again, that's why it's pretty difficult to know exactly how impactful some of these changes are going to be. Because everything is fucking changing around. So a lot of these numbers are kind of meaningless. Like this right now is kind of meaningless. Hard goal, ignoring the block and evasion form. Okay, so hard goal is not going to ignore block and evasion anymore. So basically, this is mostly significant against evasion targets because block targets you could just backstab anyways. Like if you shadow step a block target and you stun them, and you just hit them on the back, you know, doesn't really matter. But hard goal was kind of a freebie with a elusive clone. It was a freebie against evasion targets. So not anymore. You don't get a freebie against evasion. This is surprise attack. Critical damage amplification for 40% for 5 seconds. Okay, so it's a slight nerf. I guess it's a slight nerf to burst damage on the crit damage boost of this. Welcome alter ego modification. What in the world? Increasing. Oh. And thank you for the follow, Faris. This is illusion clone, I believe. This is the fucking Kagebunshin. Yeah, what a fucking translation, dude. Holy shit. Okay, so this is quite huge. The 10% extra damage from illusion clone is getting changed to a status effect increase by 10%, which, if I'm gonna be honest, basically just means they remove the first spec. Because assassin doesn't really need the extra status effect chance because of armor break, right? And thank you for the prime, Faris. Appreciate it. But yeah, like assassin doesn't really like this is not gonna change much. Like you already have so much fucking status effect chance on assassin between your passive and armor break that, you know, basically they're just removing damage from illusion clone. Fast cutting weapon, rapid slashing. So this is just like the other classes. They're increasing PvE damage across the board, again to offset the damage boost changes. Alter ego. Oh yeah, right. This is the passive that has a chance to summon a clone that does damage, right? I believe that's what it is, right? So the probability is changed to 7%, and there's a 25% chance that the attack buff will trigger now. Sin needs boost in PvE. Again, I don't think these are boosts. These are just offset to the synergy buff, the synergy nerf, right? Because every class is giving damage boost and reduced damage tolerance to everything in PvE. And all of these are basically getting removed. Again, we'll see that a bit later. So every class is getting a PvE damage boost to offset that. Consider this as redistribution of wealth, right? Instead of certain classes increasing everyone's DPS, these classes don't do that anymore. And now everyone's DPS is just raised to match. So it's kind of not much of a change. Will they be using the latest version now on the global version? I would assume they will, yeah. I would assume when it comes to QOL and balance, the latest version will be used. But I think the content we'll have available will still be go through the same season system. Okay, other changes. Surprise attack. Forward PvE damage increased by 15%. Okay, so this is if you miss the back attack, you don't get punished as hard, which this is basically the noob buff. Reducing raid damage tolerance by 2%, reducing combat speed by 2%. This is a quite significant buff. Quite significant nerf, I mean. And it goes in line with the rest of the changes, right? Which I just said with the damage tolerance and damage boosts, wealth getting redistributed. So basically, in your insignias as assassin right now, you can stack them up to 5 times. And right now, they reduced the damage tolerance on the back by 2%. So this is getting basically removed and changed to reduction in combat speed, which in PvE is basically going to have no effect. And admittedly, in PvP, it's not really going to have an effect either, because 10% combat speed in PvP kinda doesn't do much if you have high combat speed to begin with. Also, it's not always going to be 5 runes, right? Because as soon as they use a rune explosion, this shit gets reset down to 2, right? So, yeah. Basically, insignias don't really do much anymore. That's basically what you have to... That is the takeaway. Apply poison, the addiction effect changes to not renew. So I guess it doesn't self-refresh. I mean, that's probably a good thing. Yeah. It's not gonna change much. But, you know. Behind the scene hit, what a transition. Okay, so the back damage amplification is getting split between PvE and PvP, but they're not saying what the percentage is. I'm guessing it's going to be the same thing. PvE damage is going to be here to match the wealth change, and PvP is going to get nerfed. What if after defeating the mid boss and gaining Kina, leave, does the reward count decrease? I mean, it's not, right? It's just that basically it just adds the Kina to the final chest. So if you just leave without doing the final boss, you're just not going to get the Kina. Now, if you don't do the mid bosses, you're going to get less Kina at the end. That's basically what it is, which means that one boss runs are basically dead. Give me 1 second. All right. I believe this is the skill you use after dashing. What is it called again? Infiltrator or something? I think this is what it is, right? Stun blindness. The target trigger condition changes to the surprise attitude effect for 10 seconds when using the move skill. I'm not sure what that means. Surprise alt attitude effects for 10 seconds using the move skill. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe an assassin can tell me what this is. I genuinely do not know. Or does this mean... that okay, is this Shadowfall? And this basically means that the trigger is not stun and blindness anymore, but rather a 10-second window activation after you use a gap closer? Is that what that means? Yeah, I don't know. Again, maybe an assassin can confirm. Fang of the Beast. This is the stigma, right? The one that gives that puts 5 insignia. 20% damage reduction effect for 5 seconds of spec 3 is changed to increase your own PvE damage amplification by 10%, PvP damage amplification by 5%. So yeah, again, this goes in line with the rest. But nobody was using this in PvP anyways, so. And again, Trinil's Dagger. Trinil's Dagger now deals 15% more damage in PvE if you miss the back, which XD. Again. Whatever, man. Palace, this is Ranger. Typing, firing, spiral arrow, gale arrows. Okay, so this is life leech changes again, right? Yeah. So across the board, once again, life leech on Ranger is getting reduced from 50% to 90% across the board. Also, they're changing a few things. Is this all arrow? I think this. Oh god, I think this is the 10-second cooldown one. How is it called again? That's the downside of not being able to pull the in-game stuff. But yeah, basically this guild is mobile by default now. And the third spec is changed to be faster projectile. Also, all of these are getting changed to having 20% faster projectile. Druid Dart, yeah, there you go. Druid Dart. I think this is the one. Yeah. $30 seconds to 20 seconds. So the cooldown of this one is getting reduced by 10 seconds of bursting arrow, whatever that means. I don't play Ranger. So for the classes that I don't play, I typically just log in a character to just look at the name of the skills. So yeah. Okay, and all of these are just life leech nerfs, okay. This is the mark, right? Yeah, this is the mark. So faster projectile. Interesting. Okay. So the 15% damage reduction from the mark is getting changed to a 300 crit buff for yourself. And a 5% perfect increase for yourself. Which is neat. Yeah. And Bow of Blessing is now a personal buff. XD. Rapid fire, projectile increase, once again. Yeah, so just like the other classes, the charge skill is getting a damage buff across the board, both in PvE and PvP. The precision state. Oh, right. Okay, so this was activating on the mark debuff, and now this is active when you have the precision. So basically it doesn't change anything, right? So as long as you have the mark active, you can use it. Okay, and they reduce the PvE damage of Griffin Arrow and the orb, the new stigma. But yeah, this is just a raw nerf for those two. Mad Ocean. This is Sork. So again, I mean, Sork didn't have that much life leech, but you know. The life leech on Sork is getting same thing, the same treatment, 50 to 90% reduction. PvE damage is increased by 15% on Flame Explosion though. So that counts for something. Once again, it's an offset. Like anything that is PvE damage increase, I wouldn't consider it a buff. I would just consider it an adjustment. Like again, I think when we log in and we go into dungeons, I don't think the damage is going to change at all. Overall. I could be wrong, right? But I think it's going to be mostly the same. Yeah, so this is where we're starting to see a lot of the wealth movement. So all of the damage tolerance debuffs, defense reduction, so on and so forth, are getting changed to different things. So this one, the 15% damage reduction, is getting changed to a 5-second recast time change. So you're going to be able to do more damage with it. And this one is getting changed to a personal 20% damage amplification. So damage boost, right? To yourself, instead of giving it to the entire group. Attack power reduction effect to 10% is deleted. Increase of probability causing additional damage by 10%. The probability of causing additional damage. Oh, right. It's the yeah. Okay, it's that's a damage proc. Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess they are starting to remove these. Okay. So regular absorption, again, I don't play Soak, so you'll have to translate this for yourself. Does not ignore block and evasion anymore, but now it increases your chance to land CC, which I guess could be good actually for Soak. That could be decent. We'll have to see what the percentage is exactly. Delayed explosion. Okay, so delayed explosion doesn't reduce damage tolerance anymore. Instead, it does increase damage on a target that has dots. I have a patch note with all skills translated if you want. Yeah, sure, we can do that actually. Yeah, that's probably better, right? Especially if I'm going to use it for... Alright, let's see. Oh, this is the entire patch notes actually. So everything, all of this is accurate? Okay. Now the question is, do I go over everything from the beginning? To have the accurate names? Are these really accurate though? Sword of Plunder. Does Glad really have a skill called like this? The other problem is that we need to stand firm against the blows of the boss to activate this blocking skill for activate. Yeah, and you can just socket block for that though. You can either socket block or use the block skill for that. Please recap literally everything. Nah. Okay, let me just go to where we were. Yeah. It's garbage. I mean, some of it is accurate, some of it is not. Yeah. This looks like some AI translation, brother. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, well. Let's just keep it like this. Yeah, it's slightly better. Alright, Flame Harpoon. Faster projectile. I mean, I guess faster animation, actually. It has mobility by default. Movable exploration tree to change to a 10% reduction in combat speed for 5 seconds with hit. Yeah. So the movement is changed to a combat speed reduction, which again, 10% is not very significant. I don't think anyone is really going to be running this. Like, I've been trying to run the 10% damage reduction on Judgment Thunder, and I'm gonna be honest, it hasn't been making a difference. So you can test it out, right? You can test it out. I don't think you're gonna be very satisfied. Better Ravena. You evolved, I guess. Flame Explosion. Alright. Damn, Sork is getting its dick sucked. The flame explosion is also mobile by default. Confirmed multi-heat. What the fuck does that mean? Yeah, you know what? I may have to re-record. I may have to re-record the all of these anyways, because these translations are a bit rough. 100% multi-hit? Ow. What does it fucking... What does it say multi-heat like the heat? Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense then. Okay, so guaranteed multi-hit. Try this garbage. Yeah. I'm probably gonna have to sit down after stream to like manually translate these, and then go over them in the video anyways. I mean, it's fine. We'll just go over these anyways together right now. Health Flame, Flames on duration, Flame sustained damage effect. PV damage increased by 10%. Okay, again, this is an offset. Okay, so this is Inferno. So I guess Inferno just has a dot now, and the charge damage is increased, and the PvE damage is increased as well. Origin of concentration, 2 specialized attack power, additional occurrence effect from 5 to 10%. Okay, so basically Soak is getting 5% more attack for free. Yeah. Sneaky change on Cleric that wasn't announced during live stream. Yo, don't spoil, brother. Don't spoil. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Cold Storm recast time is improved from 90 seconds to 60 seconds. That's a pretty vast change. Water attribute damage condition to the frostbite effect are deleted. Ah, okay. Okay. Hibernation is better? Yeah. Yeah, so fire barrier is that the firewall? Is that what it is? And yeah, hibernation, made to cancel, and use the previous skill. So this is just cancels your animation to immediately put you in the invuln state, which that's pretty huge, by the way. Like, other invulns don't do that. You are still like dependent on the skill queue. So that's actually a pretty cool change. Yeah, so this is just prevent button mashing from to accidentally. Dude, the amount of time I fought a Soak that immediately canceled it by accident, they're probably doing this for this. Upon hibernation, immediate recovery effect, 20% maximum health is added. Okay, so you just immediately heal for 20% once you use it. So I guess this just acts as a self-heal, if anything. So that's decent, I guess. Especially considering all of the changes like this. And considering we're getting more HP after this, right? So this is pretty decent. Like, the fact that this is instant is pretty good. Impact meter condition abnormality is improved to be released. So weren't you already immune to CCs during hibernation? I mean, I guess not, right? So I guess this means that once you release out of hibernation, if you're currently stunned, it removes the stun. I guess this is what this means, right? I mean, good, yeah. Alright, Spirit Master. So again, help, like, HP absorb is getting nerfed. Any other changes? Doesn't seem to be the case. Alright, party synergy changes. Alright, Pincer Curse. I mean, this is it's just curse, right? This is your E skill, I believe. 20% critical damage resistance reduction effect is changed to a 10% damage reduction effect on animals. Huh? Does this just mean PvE? Trillion SM class, yeah. Pets. Oh. Okay, right. So, okay. So does this mean that your pets deal 10% more damage then? Specifically? Dream of the Soul. Okay, so this is a Fear Shriek. 20% damage reduction effect during the 5-second spec 1 changes to... Okay, no, this is the insta-fear. This is your Q, right? 10% damage reduction effect, 5-second specialization turns away. 50% increase in multi-stage hit probability. Okay. Damn, that's kind of dog shit. Okay. Elemental Fusion. 10% damage power reduction increase to change to 7% effect of amplifying all of its properties. Okay, so this is just a 7% buff to Elemental Fusion? Is that what it is? Instead of the tolerance reduction? Elemental Gathering, I'm guessing this is Siphon. Glad he dead. We'll have to see, like, even reading all of these, like, we kind of just have to sit down and play the game, because there's so many changes left and right, both to actual classes and whatchamacallit, like, profound systematical stuff that who fucking knows, right? Elemental Unification? Oh, okay, Elemental Unification, okay. Changes from the continued damage and attack power reduction when hitting an elemental skill to the critical damage amplification, increase effect when hitting a skill attack up to 5 times. Okay. I mean, this is a personal DPS buff then. Okay. Blessing of Fire. So Blessing of Fire is personal only, which means you will never be running it. I mean, I guess Blessing of Fire still has the crit damage boost though, right? So maybe it's still worth to run for yourself? Maybe? I don't know, we'll have to see the other stigmas. Blessing of Fire will work on low ping, not high ping? I guess, yeah. Alright, Corrosion. 10% damage percentage reduction changed to a 10% damage increase effect caused by the spirit to the corrosion target. So, okay. Okay. So it's the same thing as it is, basically. So instead of reducing the damage tolerance of the mobs, it increases your pet damage by 10%. This is basically what this is. Yeah. Okay. So Kaizenals. Again, personal buff now. XD. Again, gonna remain to be seen if it's worth. I mean, Kaizenal is the one that increases your status effect resists, isn't it? I think that's what it is, right? So nobody was running this shit anyways. Yeah, I don't think anyone was running this to begin with. Blessing of Fire. Blessing of Fire was changed to... had the cooldown doubled? I mean, it's not written here. But, I mean, I believe you. Up to 50%. I mean, I guess, okay, 50% status effect chance is probably decent in PvP. But it's a whole ass fucking Stigma slot, though. So, yeah. Curse Cloud. 20% damage tolerance reduction effect of split and number 3 is changed to 10-second increase in sustained damage retention time. Okay. So again, this is a tolerance shred that is getting moved to increasing your dot damage. Now this is Fear Shriek. Reducing damage tolerance, reducing damage... Increase damage up to 20% with larger number of target. Okay. So Fear Shriek just deals more damage, which, who gives a shit? That shit did no damage to begin with. So yeah, whatever. Like basically Insta-Fear and Fear Shriek kinda don't do shit in PvP and PvE. In terms of like raw damage, you're basically not gonna be pressing these, yeah. Dot lasts longer on Curse Cloud. Oh, is that what it is? 10-second increase. Ah, yeah, 10-second increase on sustained damage. Okay. So wait, is this fucking 4.x Final Fantasy 14 Summoner, where you extend the duration of your dots with what was the name of the skill again? The one with Bahamut. I forget. Makes me think of that. Yeah. No? Okay, so it's just a thing that you pre-apply. I'm just wondering if this like extends the duration, or if it just makes it so the dots you apply afterwards get 10 more seconds. Or do you mean this is only for Curse Cloud? It's just Curse Cloud dot being longer. Okay. Okay, well. Okay, I mean, I guess then it's gonna be up in the air whether you still run this then, I guess. Yeah. Because you mainly run it for the tolerance shred, right? I mean, it's still a dot, right? So for covering purposes in PvP, it's still gonna be useful. But I guess it also does other things, right? Doesn't it also reduce... it also reduces healing, right? So this is actually going to be useful in PvP. Against support classes, right? Minus 1000 stamina, minus 10%. Okay, minus 10% max HP. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, I mean, I guess... Okay, yeah. Alright, so pets. What do you think of Cleric changes? I haven't gone over them yet. I will be going over them once we get there. I have told some of my opinions before I started going through the patch notes, but yeah, I will... I'll cover them in just a second. And also, hello, June. Fire Spirit, default attack change to right area attack. Is that... Does that make it the... Okay, does every pet AoE? I'm trying to remember. Like, I'm pretty sure the auto attacks of other pets are also single target, isn't it? SMs can maybe confirm. Price by restart time is indicated, okay. Oh, so now, okay, that seems to be across the board, actually. So I guess now... So I suppose now you will actually see the cooldowns of your pets. Basically, like across the board. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Normal attacks with single targets. Yeah, okay. So basically, Fire Spirit is better for cleaving now, because its auto attacks are AoEs. And I don't think it's the case for other pets. It's the AoE pet? Okay. Okay, so like Fire Spirit is the dedicated AoE pet now. Gotcha. Got it. Oh, dude. Why do they do this, man? Why do they do this? Okay, let me just... So, Fire Spirit summoning skill is available. Distance target is increased, improved to be used regardless of probability. Okay, so basically, pet skills will fire regardless of distance. Even if the target runs away, right? So pets will not get outranged anymore. Okay, I mean that's a QL change, I guess. That's hella annoying in PvP. Yeah. Alright, Kurus, 20% damage reduction, change to a critical hit effect, ignoring blocking and evasion. Really? Damn, another one of these. Fuck, man, my crit res was working on fucking Spirit Master, and now it's not gonna work as well. God damn it. Like, Elementalist was one of the classes where my crit res was working on the best. Pets won't goof around? Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see in practice. On paper, it sounds good. Okay, so Earth Spirit is the same. You see the cooldowns, and it uses the skill even if the target runs out now. No more bot class. I mean, Spirit Master has been good in PvP for a while. It's honestly, right now, it's the range class that's probably doing the best. Because of the kit it has with the dispels and the powerful pets, the good self-sustain, right? So, Space Domination, whatever the fuck that is, it has faster skill speed now. Yippee! Element Fusion, charging PV damage, step forward change. Okay, so this is charge skill buff. the charge spec of Elemental Fusion. I mean, are people even running this? Are people even running the charge spec on Elemental Fusion? I don't think anyone is, right? Nope, I run it. Okay, well, we have a 50-50 split in chat. TBD, TBD. Very good, especially when block and evade are going PP, yeah. I did it was OP. Okay. I don't play, dude. I made a Spirit Master ult, and then they nerfed ult and I stopped playing it. So I haven't really got to experience the class all that much. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, no. Offensive of Destruction, whatever that is. Okay, that is your actual charge skill. Getting increased. I mean, every charge skill is getting buffed because charge skills just feel like ass to use right now. It's the Stagger Stigma. Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. The animation on this one is fucking long, as far as I remember. Blessing of Fire. Okay, there it is. Okay, so Blessing of Fire cooldown is getting doubled. And PvE damage is reduced by 35%. Wow, get fucked, I guess. Holy moly. That's a bit brutal, isn't it? Oh no, it's 120 to 60. Okay. Never mind. The cooldown is getting halved. I mean, okay. That's probably fair, right? Because the uptime on this wasn't very good. So, yeah. This is probably... Because this also has a crit damage boost, right? As far as I remember. So this is actually a fairly decent self buff, right? Yeah. Blessing of Fire was drifting to Narnia. Yeah. Now it's going to be a bit better. And also, it's only for yourself, right? So you're able to control when you use it. Ancient Spirit. A change that can be summoned at the same time as Fire, Water, and Spirit. This is good, by the way. Like, obviously, this is also to give Spirit Master more DPS, but this is good because you were summoning your Ancient Spirit and then you were literally holding your dick while the Ancient Spirit was up, because half of your skill bar was unusable when the Ancient Spirit was up. So at least this is going to make your rotation a bit more involved as a Spirit Master, which is good. Now they are lowering the potency of Ancient Spirit as a trade-off, but yeah. We don't know the interaction with joint strikes with new Ancient. Yeah, I guess that remains to be seen, right? But either way, overall, like, this is positive. Like, being able to see your pet skill cooldown, like the pet not getting interrupted anymore if the person runs away. Being able to summon multiple pets. Like, if anything, maybe your DPS is not going to move all that much, but gameplay-wise, your life is going to improve, right? If Joint Strike triggers both pet Joint Strike skills, that's a huge DPS increase. I guess, yeah. I would assume it's separate. I mean, I guess we'll see, right? Magic Arbory, skill speed increased by 50%. Well, I guess it's gonna be even fucking harder to perfect dodge the SM Dispel. Fuck me, dude. Because right now you can use... because the DSM does a voice line where they do this, so you can use this as a sound cue to perfect dodge. Because the skill speed wasn't that fast, but I guess it's gonna be harder now. Okay, so this is proxy, right? This is Spirit Sub, so it's gonna apply to the highest HP pet. And it's going to apply to the nearest one if they have the same health. I mean, it makes sense, yeah. This doesn't really change much. Basically, 9 times out of 10, it's going to apply to Ancient Spirit anyways. But I think most SM wants this to transfer to your pets when you change summons. I don't think that's gonna happen though, but you know. Silence plus stun on single key, yeah. Hidden buff is 100% uptime because AS cannot trigger skill CDR from Spirit Revenant Pluses. It's only work with other pets. Yeah, but I mean, that's fair considering, I mean, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, SM didn't get very many PvE damage boost buff. Did you notice? Did you guys notice how every single class to offset the damage boost changes, got PvE damage increase. SM got none of that. Instead, they got all of these gameplay changes. So I'm pretty sure shit is going to even out. The damage you got from the damage reduction and giving damage to the rest of your group is basically getting transferred to all of this. And overall, your quality of life is going to go up, which it's a good change. Double pet is a huge DPS gain by itself. Yeah. I think all of this should probably even out. Now, that being said, specifically against Cleric in PvP, and this may be something you guys haven't thought about. When you were fighting Clerics in PvP, right? Clerics were removing all of your damage tolerance debuffs as soon as you applied them. So you were doing less damage to Cleric. Because the damage tolerance debuffs are gone, and instead you're doing more damage, basically you're gonna have an easier time against Cleric. I'm just saying. Anyways. If the target of the spirit attacking is changed, the spirit... Okay, so they're doing the divine aura change. Good. This is something that people were bitching about for a while. That the pet was just goofing around. Now the pet is going to attack your target at all times. The effect granted by spirit cannot be applied during emergency avoidance use. Okay. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's just like UL. Let's see. Healing! Alright, chat, this is the moment you've been waiting for. This is what it's all about. Here comes the Cleric changes. And here comes my hot takes and opinions. Hell yeah. Okay. But before that, I'm gonna go grab some water. So get fucked, I guess. I'll be right back. All right. Let's get right into this. Okay, so... Oh no! Life Leech is getting nerfed on Cleric, guys. One fucking skill that no one was using anyways. Alright, moving on. So... Stigma of Weakening. This is a debilitating mark, right? So instead of reducing damage tolerance, it's going to reduce damage boost. So this... And we'll see that later because the damage tolerance buff of Light of Regen is getting removed. And it's basically getting moved here. So the Cleric tankiness buff is basically getting moved to a debuff. So if you're getting afflicted by debilitating mark, you're going to want to dispel that shit. 8% addition to... Okay, yeah. So same thing, the additional damage tolerance reduction is getting changed to a damage boost reduction, additional, right? So again, this isn't... This basically strips the damage tolerance reduction. Like, this is basically all that does, because ultimately this damage amplification reduction is just the tolerance from light of regen moving, right? So this isn't anything. It's more of a slight nerf, because now you're actually able to remove the tolerance, right? But I guess it also makes Cleric slightly less buff dependent, so, you know, counts for something. Alright, so light of regen. So you're gonna have to recast it. Okay. So now you're gonna have to recast it every 30 seconds instead of every 20 seconds, which may look like a quality of life improvement, but this is actually a nerf in my opinion, because it means that if you get dispelled, you're not going to be able to reapply as fast, right? So that is something that you have to keep in mind. So the healing tick is getting improved, which it's kind of whatever, because the healing tick is this is Cleric. This is Cleric. Because the healing tick kind of doesn't do much anyways. Like, until they change this to be percent based, like, it's not gonna do much. Now that being said, I think they're fixing to change the... They're fixing the fact that if you play Cleric, this has happened to you at least once, right? You use Light of Regen, you get stunned or knocked back, or you dodge roll a bit too fast, and the effect doesn't apply. And because the effect doesn't apply, you don't have the hot, you don't have the buff, and you can't use Healing Light. So now they're changing it to immediately apply the effect, so you won't be able to get animation cancel anymore. So yeah, as I said, they are removing the damage tolerance on the buff. So that is once again getting moved to this. So the 3% attack power is getting changed to a 50% recovery increase when the health is 50% or less. Okay, I mean... I'm going to assume this means that the hot effect from Light of Regen is getting improved by 50% and not your incoming healing. If your incoming healing is getting improved by 50% when under 50% health, this is going to be worth running. If it's just the healing, if it's just the Light of Regen effect, this is not worth running. So I guess we're gonna do some testing when the servers come up. Extra block and avoidance is getting changed to a 5% increase in healing received. Yeah, we're probably gonna be running this, I guess. CDR is cooldown reduction. And yeah, cooldown reduction is going to be more valuable than ever on Cleric, as we'll see in just a second. Just a 5% movement speed. Okay, so these two basically, so LOP is getting hardcore nerfed, so which Light of Protection is getting hardcore nerfed, and the movement speed and extra incoming healing is basically getting moved to Light of Regen. Yeah. Finally, the 10 and 10% extra damage tolerance is changed to 5% increase in damage tolerance. So that's enough. So if you're running Light of Regen 16, basically it's going to depend on this, first of all. So if this is a 50% incoming healing, which I don't think it is, but if it is, you're going to be running this spec and this spec, right? And if this is shit, you're going to be running this spec, and then it's going to be a toss-up between the healing received and the movement speed increase effect. Personally, I'm going to be running the increased healing. Yeah. So now you're less tanky but better healer. So again, the tolerance is getting moved to this, right? So as long as you're able to upkeep debilitating mark, the tolerance kind of doesn't change for you or your group, because it's basically your tolerance is now a debuff instead of a buff. Just think of it this way, right? Yeah. Now we have to see the base effect of that, but based on the fact that This is getting changed from 8 to 5. I'm going to assume it's basically going to be the same thing. Maybe it's going to be a slight nerf, right? But I think it's going to be about the same. Let's see. But yeah. Long story short, you run the tolerance and you run the healing received on Light of Region. And if you have it level 20, then you run these 3. Yeah, probably. But again, we'll have to see once we're in game, when we see the actual translations. So Earth Grace. Earth Grace is now a personal accuracy and critical damage buff instead of it being a group-wide damage boost buff. This is a very significant nerf to Cleric's group DPS. Yeah. I still think we're going to be running this on PvE accessories, because ultimately we don't have that many passives that are valuable in PvE anyways to begin with. So I don't think we're going to need to respec, but obviously our group utility is like dropping quite a decent amount, because if you were running a good amount of Earth Grace, you basically had close to 25% damage boost for the entire group. 50% of the time, right? So, yeah. Lighter Protection. So LOP, this is the Stigma buff, the green buff that you have to run. But now this is different. So LOP is not a buff anymore, it's a mantra. So it's a toggle skill. Which, hey, I haven't been telling you to do this shit for like 3 months now? Well, it's nice you finally fucking did it, I guess. Basic effect changes to PvE PvP damage resistance and PvE PvP damage amplification effect. Okay. So, long story short, right? This is basically becoming undefeated mantra. Now, there's a couple of caveats, right? Like, it's not going to do the exact same thing, but basically think of this as undefeated mantra. Now, we have to see the exact values, because these motherfuckers are not giving the values on these. Is it down there, maybe? Nope. They're just not giving it, I guess. Yeah, they're just not giving it. We have to see the value of this. There's a good chance that we're not going to be running this skill in PvP anymore, and we are only going to be running this skill in PvE if you don't have a Chanter in the group. Yeah. Because like 100 accuracy is worthless. The healing received, honestly, isn't that significant. Yeah, maximum health is nice, but you can live without it. Especially considering we have fucking 35% more health now. So yeah, we have to see in-game exactly how this works. But there is a non-zero chance that the only scenario where we run this is when we are a solo cleric in PvE. Yeah. Especially because of some of the other changes we're just about to go over. And again, when you have a Chanter in the group, you never run this, basically. Alright, so Divine Aura. Launch speed of the energy is improved, so not affected by the caster recast time and reduction stat. Improved. So basically your CDR is not going to impact the projectile speed of Divine Aura, which is probably going to be a nerf. Unless they just make it like a fixed high amount, right? Not sure to understand why they decided to nerf change group buff. Main weight philosophy behind this. So the main reason why they did this is to make group comps less rigid. Number one. And number two, to nerf the effectiveness of group play in PvP. As far as I understand, that's the philosophy behind it. Because right now, like in PvP, if you're roaming as a group and you encounter a bunch of people that are not grouped together, even if they are more people than you, but they're not grouped together, they basically stand no chance because the group synergy are too strong. So they want to reduce that, and then for PvE, they want to make it so certain classes are not as like fixed into a group, right? Okay, so Divine Aura, function consumes energy when attack is deleted. So Divine Aura is depleting HP when attacking, so that's not the case anymore. Divine Aura just doesn't lose health now. Retention time, so Divine Aura now lasts only 5 seconds instead of 10. PvE damage is increased by 100%, which makes sense because the duration is getting halved, so this basically doesn't do anything. The faster projectile is getting nerfed from 100% to 50%. So this is a nerf. Again, depends on what this means. So we'll have to see in game. And the recovery time when using the skill is improved. Like less recovery time. Alright, Healing Light. This is the spammable skill after you use Light of Regen. So the cooldown is getting doubled. So I was saying earlier, it's not that bad because Illusion reduces this a little bit. So basically, instead of having, if you have the CDR spec, like it's going to be 2 or 3 second cooldown instead of 1 second. That's basically going to be the change, right? You won't need Light of Regen to be active anymore to be able to use it, which is weird, if I'm gonna be honest, because we don't have enough slots in our skill bars to be doing this shit. So you're probably just going to maintain the same setup anyways, where you have Prio, Light of Regen, Healing Light on the same slot. Yeah. But the main change for that is that if you get Light of Regen dispelled, you're still gonna be able to heal yourself. That is the biggest change. So when you play against Assassin and Spirit Master, you're still gonna be able to use Healing Light. The healing amount is doubled. And they added a bunch of specs that basically greatly increase the healing potency of it. So to me, what this is telling, right, is this is actually a buff overall. Because yes, the cooldown is longer, but your healing is significantly stronger. So you're basically spending less time spamming it, and you get healed more. Again, we have to see how it works in practice, but this is certainly how it looks, right? Also, it might be worth running it at level 20, because the spec that removes a debuff is getting buffed to 50%. And we'll see in just a second, Radiant Recovery is getting changed to only one status remove instead of 2, right? So being able to remove status with this as well might be valuable. Yeah, might be interesting to run. Again, we have to see in practice because the debuffs are going to be less severe. But yeah. Thank you for follow Bankai. Brace of Recovery. This is Radiant Recovery. So the Dispel is part of the base skill now, but it's only 1 instead of 2. It's a good thing. It's going to free up a slot, right? But it's going to make dispelling a bit more troublesome outside of Absolution, obviously. So again, the cooldown is getting doubled. So like the biggest change with this, because once again, the recovery is getting significantly increased, right? In this skill. So healing wise, this is not enough. This is more a buff, if I'm gonna be honest. This is more a nerf to dispelling abilities. So the interesting side of this is you still have Absolution to fully dispel yourself in a pinch. But this basically means, as a side effect, that it might be worth running Voice of Doom as a Cleric to counter other clerics, because you're going to be able to cover Voice of Doom on a cleric that already used Absolution. Because they can only dispel themselves once every about 10 seconds when accounting for CDR. So some food for thought, right? Overall, I would say it's a good change. The healing on cleric was too spammy, so now we don't have to spam heals as much, right? We can spend more time DPSing, and we can plan our healing more carefully. Instead of just like... Basically, Radiant Recovery, you were spamming it for the Dispel, right? Regardless of whether you had the healing or not. So now you're going to time it a bit better. Also, the 20% increase in healing is getting changed to 10%. Which means that we'll have to see exactly how the healing potency works with the new changes. It might be worth to not run this. And run the cooldown reduction instead. Yeah. Because right now you run the 20% increase healing and you stack it with LOP, and that makes your healing light pretty powerful, right? But if this is getting nerfed and we might not be running LOP anyways, it might be interesting to... yeah. They forgot to put healing aura. Oh, that's funny. I mean, I guess I can just mention it. Yeah. Willpower. This is... Bolt? This is Bolt. Increasing the skill speed, and the charge is getting extra damage. Again, that's the same thing as charge skills for other classes. Same thing. Wow, really? They removed Cleric self-res, actually. Alright, well, I guess we're going back to using stones, boys. We had a good run. We had a good run. I hope you guys replenished your stones while we had this active. Power of Life. Healing energy skill is changed to Power of Life. When using the skill, you improve to constantly restore the vitality of party members around you. Oh, no. This is the healing aura. This is healing aura. So they changed healing aura to be a healing circle around you. Yeah. So basically think of this as healing aura follows you now. And this as a stigma might be interesting to run now because of that. Because this is basically like every minute you're gonna have a healing aura that follows you, that heals you for 20 seconds, and increases your defense, attack, and attack speed. Might be interesting to actually run over LOP now. In situations where you don't want to run LOP. So in PvP, as well as in situations where you already have a Chanter in the group, it might be interesting to run. Because you would have run Amplification otherwise for the Earth Grace buff, but since Earth Grace got nerfed, like that's one we're gonna be looking at. And look, again next week we're getting a free Stigma respec event, so we're gonna be experimenting a lot, boys. We're gonna be experimenting a lot. Healer can't resurrect. What can I mean? You still have the rest skill, right? Oh, yeah. All right, Noble Energy. This is the new Stigma. So we are basically a pet class now. So okay, none of this means anything. We're gonna have to see what is the damage profile of this, because this is basically a permanent pet that follows you and deals extra damage. It's interesting because it means you keep dealing passive damage even when you're healing yourself. It's interesting. With that said, Divine Aura right now does Z fucking DPS in PvP. It doesn't do any fucking damage in PvP. So unless this does very significant damage, it's DOA. We'll see. Is Power of Life the Q skill but with less AoE? Power of Life is healing aura, but now it follows you around. is like Ranger's Pet. So yes and no, because it doesn't rely on you firing a skill. It just fires a skill every 2 seconds. So yeah, it's basically, think of it as like an extra dot. Yeah. But overall, the Cleric changes, I'm fine with them. I will say one thing. The only thing I'm a bit surprised in is the fact that they did not increase Cleric's DPS at all in face of the damage boost, all of the damage boost removal and the damage tolerance reduction on this. Now, they are not mentioning Chain of Torment, so I'm assuming that Chain of Torment will still have the damage tolerance debuff, right? But I would have expected a slight PvE damage buff, but again, I guess we'll just see how it plays out once we're actually in game. But yeah, that's overall. Otherwise, gameplay wise, I do like what they're doing. They are reducing the healing spam. They're making healing like more thought. They're giving more thought to healing, and they're also nerfing the amount of dispel that we have. So overall, I think it's good for the game. Yeah. Can you shortly tell status effect chance resist anything better? Still ignored. Still ignored, brother. Still ignored. Trust me. After all of this, it's gonna be the next step. They're gonna take a look at CC and status effect chance and resist next. It's the next logical step. So baby steps, right? One thing at a time. How about Seong? This is Chanta, yes. Alright, so again, life leech nerf across the board. Wave attack. 20% damage and radiation amplification, 10% PvE damage amplification, 5% damage. Yeah, so this is the same nerf as Templar, right? Alright, Undefeated Mantra. Healing protection zone does not apply at the same time. So yeah, LOP doesn't apply at the same time. Mantra, one of the movement speed increase, change from... okay. I mean, that's neat, I guess. That's not much of anything. Okay, so Chanta is getting damage increase across the board, even in PvP. Which, again, it's a bit weird that Chanta is getting this, but Cleric isn't. But, again, I guess we'll see, right? Not sure about a healer man. Healer to be a support pillar, less reliance on healer, no incentive to be lobby. I wouldn't say there's less reliance on the healer, though. It's going to depend entirely on how effective the life leech nerf is. Because if the life leech nerf is significant, you will need a Cleric. If the life leech nerf ultimately doesn't do shit, then yeah, it kind of feels bad. We have to play the game. We have to see exactly. And then we can bitch. Okay, so order of recovery. This is recoup, right? Yeah, this is recoup. Okay, so recoup is hitting 20% more. And it dispels one skill now. That's interesting. So Chanta is leaning a lot more into the healing now. That's crazy. Chanta is getting a damage buff and is also getting a healing buff. That's crazy. God damn. Okay, so mobility. Wow. Okay. So Chanta can dispel 2 debuffs, but Cleric can't. Interesting. 10%. Okay, so this is the same 10% extra, right? 3-second recast and reduction effect. Okay, so they're basically just getting shuffled. Yeah, most of these are just getting shuffled. Like the main one is going to be the 2 debuff removal. Offset the death rate on chain. Yeah. Step by step charging. Okay, yeah. So again, charge skill buff. Same thing as other classes. So this is healing touch. So healing touch heals more, which That's not even consequential because Healing Touch wasn't healing for shit to begin with. Okay, so this is the same same thing as Light of Regen, so 50% more effectiveness if you're low health. It also regens stamina by 1,000. That's interesting. Five status of moon. Okay. So they're basically turning healing touch into absolution. That's basically what this is. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's basically an absolution that heals a bit less but gives stamina now. Alright, so faster skill animation on these. Okay, increase the shield on the, I guess this is authority, right? And the block skill now prioritize the block over evasion, so yeah, same QL. Okay. So Chanta across the board is going to be able to heal a lot better. Yeah. I mean, if they're going to increase this, it's a bit surprising they didn't buff Sprint Mantra, I guess, the healing potency of Sprint Mantra, but yeah. No. What about the mantras? Undefeated Mantra is keeping the same effect, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, like LOP is fucking DOA. Like LOP, you're never gonna run where you have a Chanta. Yeah. There's no mention of a nerf of undefeated Mantra. Biggest up is SM. Yeah. I mean, in general, right? Even in terms of quality of life and everything, SM is just like stonks up. Yeah. Now, across the board, these are good changes. Across the board, right? I will say one thing. I think, first of all, not everything has been addressed in this. On the PvE side, I guess the balance is fine, but the main problem on PvE is a gameplay one, with too many classes being one-button classes, with the window opening thing, with Overhead Slam, Dark Rush, etc., etc. What is the cooldown time for healing? Everything is getting doubled, basically. So Radiant Recovery is 14, and Healing Light is 6. But yeah. So they still need to address the gameplay problem on that front, and then on the PvP front, the next step is going to address everything that pertains to status effect resist and status effect chance, because it's completely out of whack right now. In the sense that some classes have too much CC, some classes don't have enough CC or even any CC, right? And then you have problems of some classes being able to penetrate buffs like Defiance. So they need to address CC next in PvP. Now obviously, we'll have to see how the balance in itself is. I think it's going to be fine for the most part. I think CC is going to become the biggest problem now. So that's kind of my takeaway from all of this. Now, in terms of class viability, I will say that I think Ranger is still missing something for PvP. But again, this pertains to the CC problem. There's just not basically there's not enough CC wealth on the range classes and too much on the melee classes. So they need to balance that. And because of that, the likes of Ranger, Sork, Cleric are basically kind of left in the dust in solo PvP. That's my current opinion on it. On my personal Cleric opinion, in terms of the changes, on the gameplay side, I like it. We're finally gonna maybe shuffle or build a bit when we're probably not gonna be running LOP anymore, which LOP feels terrible to run because it's just a dead button that was getting dispelled in PvP. So it's going to open up more build opportunity. Noble Energy has the opportunity to be the funniest fucking thing of all time. it's really going to depend on the effectiveness of the skill. So fingers crossed on that. When it comes to Sanctuary, now everyone is on an even playing field in terms of resurrections. So Cleric doesn't have res pressure anymore, which also means that Cleric doesn't have to run resurrection anymore in Sanctuary, because people can just fucking use stones because it's on the same count amount. Now, you're still probably going to be running resurrection on certain things, like let's say on the second boss of Sanctuary 2, because you always sacrifice half of your group. You're probably going to be running it so they don't always use a stone on that, right? So, but for the rest, basically now you open up a slot. You said they removed it? No, they removed the self-res, but the resurrection skill is still in the game. So, yeah. But basically this is going to free up a stigma slot in PvE, because we won't have to run the res anymore, even in Sanctuary. So, you know. That is one thing. On the PvP side of things, for Cleric, in group play, Cleric is less powerful now, because you can dispel less and you provide less tolerance to your group. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because healing in group was a bit too powerful, right? And we kind of need people to die, right? Like, supports can't be that powerful in group PvP. Like, pocket Clerics were too strong. Now, Cleric is still going to be a very strong healer, don't get me wrong. It's just not going to be as strong because you're losing tolerance. And the damage boost thing on Debilitating Mark is not going to do anything for group PvP, right? Like, this is mainly going to be for solo PvP and PvE, right? Now, on the solo PvP side of things of Cleric, we have to see, because again, damage boost and damage tolerance is getting shuffled all around, which means that the damage numbers are going to change, right? So it's likely we're going to be tankier in solo PvP. In terms of the amount of damage we deal, that's kind of up for debate in my opinion, because we're not losing all of our debuffs, but we are losing all of our damage boost. So yeah, I'm really wondering how that's going to play out, because right now, even with good gear, like even with 8,000 attack, like 50% damage boost, you're not dealing damage to Templar, right? For example. So, but then again, Life Leech is getting removed. And maybe with the Stigma slots opening up, you're going to have the opportunity to run Voice of Doom, which is going to allow you to prevent Chanters and Clerics from healing because there's less debuff dispel to be going around, and is also going to give you the opportunity to break shields against Templars, Sorks, Elementalists, etc. So, and also Noble Energy, if it does actual significant damage, is actually going to allow you to play more protective in PvP, in the sense that it's going to be doing damage while you're healing yourself. So TBD, I think overall Cleric might still not be very good in solo PvP. I'm going to be honest. This is my first impression. Like, Cleric is struggling in solo PvP right now, and I think it's probably going to get slightly worse. But we have to see, because the formulas are changing around, and we have no idea what Noble Energy is going to do. Now, with that said, with the Earth Grace change, you're always going to want to run Earth Punishment, because Earth Punishment guarantees crit on a Condemnation, which is your highest source of DPS. And Earth Grace is going to give you a large helping of critical damage now to yourself. So, some food for thought, right? In the coming days for Clerics, we're gonna have to really scratch our brains and test a bunch of shit out with the Stigma builds, but also with the increase in percent HP on the amplified armor, there is a non-zero chance that HP builds are also going to come out. Because now if you roll HP, you're going to get a lot of value out of it. because you're looking at 35% more HP on every single point of HP you get. So that is maybe going to be a defensive layer that we might have to consider on Cleric, like running Constitution and HP. We'll have to see, right? Obviously, block is on the rise right now. Personally, I don't know if I'm going to switch to block quite right now, because I have a hunch it's one of those things that's going to be volatile. I think evasion and block are going to be on the chopping block, on the shop, like pretty heavily in the coming patches. So I'm going to be conservative with it. I'm not going to have a knee-jerk reaction on my build change, basically. But I'm going to wait and see how I can perform with the build I currently have, and just adjust based on that. No damage boost for Cleric, but if Noble Energy is Stigma skill, then it's a nerf. Not everyone has 5 level 20 Stigmas. I mean, okay, I don't think you can consider the Stigma levels as part of the balance, right? You kind of have to assume that people have 5 level 20 Stigmas, right? And we are getting a free Stigma reset event for 1 week. So we're going to be able to switch things around and max everything to 20 to test everything, right? So we'll have to see how it functions at endgame. Like, the thing is with Noble Energy, right? We have to see the perks as well. Like, they haven't shown us the perks. What? Because this isn't Divine Aura. It's not. We're not gonna have to choose perks. Whatever this gets, it's gonna get all 5 of them, right? This could be really fucking powerful. We don't know. So, yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Wondering for PvP, where does the additional damage come from, given the HP increase, the fact that clerics can burst heal so much better now? Additional damage come from? I mean, every class is getting like moderate damage increase left and right. Now, most of them are PvE, some of them are also PvP, right? But for the most part, you do also have to keep in mind that tolerance is also dropping at the same time as damage boost, right? Like, we just have to see how the damage numbers are after the patch. Like, genuinely, there's so many fundamental changes that it's just a wait and see scenario. Like, the next coming days, I'm going to be doing a lot of solo PvP. I'm going to be doing arena, I'm going to be all of that, right? So, it's going to be a bit of a discovery moment. Like, it's gonna be a busy week, I'm gonna tell you. Like, I'm gonna be spending all week figuring out what's going on with the stigma situation, as well as the damage situation and the build situation. And your stigma is probably the reason why Cleric didn't get any damage boost. That's what I'm thinking, right? Because it's a little sus that Cleric isn't getting any, but then Chanta is getting like all of this. So we have to see how fucking powerful this is. And also we have to see exactly how Divine Aura is going to change. Because Divine Aura on paper got nerfed. But maybe it didn't. Because some of the mentions are a bit like ambiguous, right? Where is it? Yeah, Sacred Energy. Like the launch speed, we don't know what that means. Right? We don't know what that means. It could be faster, it could be slower, right? Very excited for tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's going to be a very different feeling game. If anything, I'm just happy that I won't have to deal with the life leech bullshit as much. Now, again, when it comes to life leech, frequency of attack is quite important, right? And even if life leech got nerfed to the dirt, people attack so fucking fast in this game that they might be able to just turn around on a mob. And maybe instead of life leeching back to full in 1 second, maybe they'll be able to do it in 3 or 4 seconds. Still going to be bad for Cleric. So... yeah. Imagine it's like Ancient Spirit. I mean, who knows? Maybe, right? Honestly, delete Gladiator. Mod this guy. That's it. I'm modding you. Odile Tech. Oh, hell yeah, dude. You can farm AP. Yeah, I mean, again, when they balance out stigmas, they kind of have to balance it out based on level 20, right? Because if they make them too strong at low levels, then at level 20 they might be broken. So I don't have much of a problem. But and again, there's the reset event, right? And we're probably going to be moving stigmas around, right? Because I'm gonna tell you, Salvation as it stands I don't find it to be really valuable, if I'm gonna be honest. So you're probably gonna be able to distinguish out from that. Even in group play, salvation is so hard to use now because of the invuln restrictions. Several gladiator mains are already planning that. They're just fucking drama queens, dude. Like, stop acting as if the life leech wasn't a fucking broken game mechanic. Like, stop acting like it wasn't. And even as it stands right now, I still think it's going to be fairly powerful. So, yeah. But yeah, overall, I'm happy to see some of these changes. I want to see more, though. I genuinely want to see more. I want to see the skill window spam reworked or removed from the game, because I think it's overall bad for the game. Like the overhead slam, the dark rushes, and so on and so forth, right? I want to see just gone. I want to see a rebalance of CC. I want to see Defiance actually fucking work, right? But, you know, this is, to me, this is a step in the right direction. I'm happy for Spirit Masters, because they're getting mega stonks, right? And it's not quality of life that is negative, like the skill spam stuff. It's just purely stuff that makes sense, right? That makes the game, it makes the class more engaging and more fun to play. And this is the type of QL I want to see, right? I have to see by how much? Yeah, exactly. Also, one thing that we have to be concerned about is how our raid's going to feel, right? Because all of the damage tolerant debuffs and everything worked across the entire raid. So if you brought one Spirit Master, it buffed the entire raid, right? So even if you increase the individual DPS of every class, it's still probably going to be less overall. So, you know, yeah. Yeah, we'll see, we'll see. But I think that's a wrap, right? I think that's everything. By the way, chat, here's the funny haha thing. I'm going to bed right after this, and then I'm gonna have to fucking alarm clock when the server comes back up to make the patch notes video and go through all of it again. Hahaha. Isn't that funny? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a wrap, right? So yeah. The entire point of the stream was just to go over these notes. Again, I'm cautiously optimistic. At least they're making changes and they are finally willing to nerf some things. So, yippee, I guess. I'm happy to see that Assassin is gonna be less of a fucking menace. Gladiator isn't, though. Outside of the life leech stuff, like, Gladiator is still fucking insane in PvP. But yeah, now. Maybe with the damage boost reduction, as well as the HP increase, maybe it's going to be more manageable. Spoiler alert, it probably won't. But yeah. No update to install yet? Oh, we don't have a... Wait. Fuck. I was still in game. Patch is still not up. Damn, the data mining is gonna take a while. Maybe they're having problem. Look, at the end of the day, I'm going to alarm clock this a bit later than the planned maintenance end time. Is this shit? Oh yeah, wait. Right, whatever. I'm gonna take a look at this after, because I know for a fact they're going to extend the maintenance. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna be done for now. We went through everything. We had a meaningful discussion, right? So, if you have anything left to get in now. What time stream tomorrow? Around 1 my time. Yeah. So give or take about 13 hours from now. Yeah. I'm going to alarm clock, make the patch note video, probably catch a little bit of sleep, and then go right into it. And it's going to be a very long stream. Very long stream. So look forward to that. But yeah. I appreciate your patience to talk this long, man. Yeah, I mean, look. I'm here for that. I'm just late. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for watching tonight. It was fun. Looking forward to the patch tomorrow. Don't forget to also go on the YouTube and look out for the patch notes video to check that out, I guess. And on that topic, don't forget to follow the channel on both Twitch and YouTube if you haven't already. And don't forget to join the Discord to be made aware of my whereabouts, as well as the posting of new videos. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys in about 13 hours. New info on new dungeon. And they basically just said XD re-released the new dungeon. It was the beginning, right? Yeah. That's it. We do have the soundtrack for the new dungeon on the Discord already. So if you're interested in that, it's on there. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching tonight. I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. And yeah, GG's. There's not going to be anyone to host because the game is fucking down. So I'm just going to turn off the stream now. Bonne nuit.